All right, everybody, welcome to session 82 of Descent into Fernia. I know, or maybe it hasn't been a while this time. I don't know. Who wants to give the recap?
All I really remember at the moment was we were in the Warforged Colossus. It was after the whole reactivating it thing. And there was like something coming for us, something like on the wind was coming in our direction. But it wasn't. And then I remember that well, they weren't even coming for us. They were running from the even worse thing behind them. That came
Yeah,
for us.
it was
A dragon that
I-
generates a fucking giant storm.
yeah, I guess you guys ran into this before. I haven't, but some kind of like volcanic dragon or something, pyroclastic dragon, I believe, or something along those lines that Wilfred fought. That just perched on us for a while, hung out, and then left. That was basically it.
Oh yeah, that was the thing that oh yeah. Duh, you just said it. We were on Wilfred and it was fighting.
Yeah. I think they got put into a dream. I broke in for a second and was like, oh well, I'm not going to be any good in here, and then I left.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we were cursed to never be able to sleep peacefully again. That minor thing.
Good thing Blade doesn't sleep. That sounds like a
Oh yeah,
a flesh bag problem.
Yeah.
No, that's just because Blade is preoccupied. His mind is fucking scattered. At least that's how I perceived it.
And then, yeah, in that dream, Lux had something interesting happen. Hey, Lux?
Yep.
Care to elaborate?
Oh,
It was
I
really
got the-
interesting.
Yeah, I swear. You had to be there.
well, I had the hand of Vecnon, like always
Oh, yeah.
intended. So technically, I have 4 attunement slots. Does that mean I have to shit can one, or do I get a special one since I have the hand of Vecna?
Does the Hand of Vecna require an attunement slot?
Right. But we can go over for the hell of it. It was a dream sequence.
No, I mean, I don't think it needs to be attuned to. So you don't need to worry about attunement slots unless it gives you an extra one. I haven't read it in a while.
Oh, I could edit that in. I actually would be fine with the Hand of Vecna granting an extra attunement slot since it's kind of like not it's attuning to the hand, which is now an extension of you. So I think that is reasonable. So yeah, there was the dream where High Cardinal Crozen introduced himself and also showed you the destruction being wrought upon Flamekeep by Haruman and his forces. The dream showed Haruman using some kind of stone with the souls, and specifically the souls of those who have fallen before you. Paelius, Tem, Ewan. Yeah, most of Tony's characters. Yeah, just rattle them off.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Yeah,
Ewan.
Thanks for bringing up the old wounds.
Yeah. So
Paelius and Tem were even before you got the marks in your heads. So
Right? Like, how'd they even get involved? They were already dead.
So that happened because High Cardinal Crozen, working with the Vanthampurs of Thaliost, had created special runes across the city
that acted as batteries for soul energy. And so anybody that died within the city limits, their souls were sucked into it. And then after your group was killed and then, saved from that eternal torment by the chronicler, all of Thalios was exploded. And so High Cardinal Crozin was able to harvest all of the souls of those who died in Thalios.
And
So
I remember you said somehow Solomon escaped. Solomon was not being used in that way.
yes. Also, what's that? You're muted.
I said because he was the only real believer in the whole group.
Yeah.
He would dispute that. He thought you were all like, low key under the radar believers.
On the down low.
Right. Deep in your hearts, you all believed in the
That's-
glory of the Silver Flame.
Solomon was free to think that. Hyelius was definitely not.
But that was another interesting aspect of the dream, that it revealed, because Alyssa's soul was there, and that triggered a memory for Lux, who would have been, and maybe the Brandon one would have been there at this time, but where Alyssa, the group had encountered an aboleth coming out from a portal to take Project Ezreal. And Alyssa was the only one not affected by the creature's like paralyzing psychic energy, and attacked it, and then the creature ate Alyssa and then like commanded Project Ezreal into the portal and disappeared, but not before altering everybody's memory who is present to not only forget that Alyssa wasn't there, but that to even question why she was not there anymore.
I mean, that spell was so effective that I, Kurt, do not remember that happening. I may have missed that session.
Nobody knew it happened, because it's my way of explaining why Josh
see.
gets dropped off.
Okay, that's I feel better at least. I thought I had forgotten a whole session somewhere along the way.
So then after showing you the devastation of Flame Keep, Cardinal Crozin decided to gloat and tell you that he was ready for you, knowing that he needed to defeat you in order to free Belshalor. And then also that promising that none of you would have another night's rest before the battle, at which point Lux was like, oh yeah, check this out, and all of a sudden has the hand of Vecna, and then everybody wakes up. Everybody, I think, saved against the effect, so everybody was able to get a long rest in.
Nope.
Oh, not Lux. But everybody wakes up to see that in her sleep, Lux had cut off her hand and has the hand of Vecna actually on her wrist.
While she was sleeping.
Yeah. She did it in her sleep. Because when she willed it in her dream, the power of Vecna made it happen.
All praise Vecna.
All praise Vecna. And so then you guys woke up and started conversing with each other, kind of talking about what's next. And that's where we ended, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
So-
first things first, we have
Lux
to cut
said-
this hand off.
Yeah, Lux had bony old lady hands to begin with, so it's probably not that
Yeah.
different.
Probably can't even tell.
Well, it's interesting because Takash wasn't actually asleep, so he watched Lux just in her sleep wake up, chop off her hand, not even with a blade, with like she just like went
He chopped it off.
like a kung fu master, turning her hand
yes.
into like its own type of blade.
she she does that, and I'm like, why doesn't she just do that against our enemies all the time?
But it was cool because like Takash saw that she cut off her arm, and then the hand of Vecna emerged from the bag of holding where it was and put itself there. She didn't even do it. So
Lux can do all kinds of things when Mike's controlling her.
Correct, yes, absolutely. Yeah, don't get your hopes up when I'm controlling her, so that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, she could nearly TPK the rest of the fucking party.
So there was a session a while ago where Lux's character or Peter's character Lux got possessed, and so I took control of her. And it didn't really change much about her mechanics, but she almost whooped the asses of every single one of them soloing.
You know, monks are powerful, man.
Yeah.
At least they can be.
So everybody wakes up to find the bloody hand of Lux and the replaced hand of Vecna on her wrist. Takash, you've been awake the entire time, with it the exception of that, small in like peekaboo on the dream. And then as that happens, Blade is also present, since I believe everybody is in the place where Blade is controlling. Well, no, because you guys would have been resting, so I don't think
Right.
you've been in the head, because there's not really enough.
And Blade wasn't like conscious. He was doing whatever he had to do. And you forgot Pantone had Lux's hand and was running around with it.
Oh yeah.
Yes, completely out of my control. Yeah. It's hers now. So
So at this point, Dustin, Blade is no longer completely unconscious. You're able to kind of shift your consciousness to more into that in between space that you've been in, as well as to, you can bring yourself out into the world. You can will yourself to disconnect from the Warforged Colossus. As long as you're in the possession of the Orb of Dragon Marks, to mimic the House Cannith mark, you're able to do that.
Gotcha. In the computational plane.
I'm sorry, what was that?
In the computational plane.
Right. So
how are we on track for making it to Belshalor? Like, what's our ETA? I feel like that's something that Blade would know.
So you have 4 days to make it to Belshalor, to the Flamekeep Cathedral, which is tight, but it's also difficult to say for certain, or normally it would be difficult to say for certain because of the shifting topology of Fernia. But since your encounter with the Sibriacs, you do have a sort of innate awareness of the direction that you need to go. And you do know that you have just enough time to get there.
All right, so we have to be there in 4 days, but we'll be cutting it close, like maybe 3 and something.
Yeah.
Blade kind of stirs, his lights going up and down his body, as he kind of whirs back to to consciousness.
As you will yourself back to consciousness, you find that as long as you remain on that platform floating in the head of the Warforged Colossus, that you have a sense of all of the interior spaces of the Warforged Colossus. So you innately know that everybody is located in the chest right now. And you can even, if you were to focus, you could tell like individual vitals of each person there, as well as the functioning and systems throughout the Warforged Colossus. So you would see that there is a change to Lux, though you wouldn't be able to know exactly what happened, but based on just seeing the vitals, you can see that she's not the same.
Cholesterol is through the roof.
Yeah.
Did like her testosterone shoot up or something? Is it like that level of vitals?
I mean, she is a half orc. I suppose that half orc females probably are high in testosterone.
Okay. So that would be a concerning note to Blade. He would break himself away from the platform and head to the chest where the plurality of the group has gathered.
Okay. So everybody
Mhm.
sees Blade walk down the ladder into the room.
At last, you're free of whatever it was. Are we ready to go?
We have been going. Right?
Last I saw, we were still buried in the earth.
Oh yeah. So when you stepped onto the platform, your consciousness merged with the Warforged Colossus, but it did not. You did not have time or start the process of actually moving the Warforged Colossus.
Okay. That makes sense. Okay. I thought we were like in transit and this was happening. Okay. Yes.
Also, Lux lost her soul, I believe. That's how the hand works.
Lux, are you okay? Did you make
I'm
a
fine.
are you feeling any strange early urgings to strangle someone?
Only if we don't get moving, we've got a deadline.
Well, all systems are operational. I've got good news and bad news. Good news, we can make it just in time. Bad news.
Tony's character has to die.
This machine runs on fingers.
Yes.
Bad news. The consciousness that is powering this machine that was in what is in Dawn in the shield, it was a deception. Oh, it will get us there. But it is this creature named Omerta. And it is not clear whose allegiances they lie. With them they lie. They seem to be earnestly on track to take care of Belshalor and help us with this. However, after Belshalor is completed, wow.
Well, what?
It is unclear what they plan to do. They seem to be trapped in some place, in some great tree, and they are searching for a way out.
And
Good.
would this Omerta have some way of taking Belshalor's place?
They seem to be able to seed their consciousness into various items throughout Corvair. The shield was one of them, and they placed them in timely in a place them in situations and people where they can gain some power or influence. It is not clear how far beyond that capability this Omerta has. But there is a rogue player who has entered the game. And it seems, at least for now, we are aligned on the same goals.
But it sounds like Omerta may be the boss we have to fight after the boss.
The good news is that if I disconnect from Warforged, if I disconnect from Colossus, the item can be removed and it will not be in charge of Colossus unless there are machinations of this of this system I do not understand. It will be something I will continue to try to understand as we make our way to Flamekeep.
Do we know that Omerta is hostile?
They
Would he try to complete Belshalor's ritual?
They have lied, and so it is tough to trust the word of a liar when they say they are willing to help and they have the same goals. We best keep our eyes peeled and take any necessary precautions.
Well, you should know we had a run-in with Cardinal Crozen, who said that the ritual requires him defeating us, the champions of the Silver Flame, in order for Belshalor to be freed. So we may be actually giving him exactly what he wants by going to free Jayla Duran.
So if we choose not to go, we can just avoid the return of Belshalor.
So he says, but again, as you said, it's hard to trust a liar. It may be that he's hoping we just don't show up so that he doesn't have any opposition whatsoever. We did find that cave with what looked like portals back to Corvair. We could all just go home and see what happens.
Takash, you're starting. I'm sending you a message.
It seems to me it's our destiny to rescue Jayla Duran, however.
Yeah, I'm saying we could
Though
do all
at
those
what
things,
cost?
but obviously we are not going to do that. For we are
Why does
destined.
Omerta sound familiar?
You mean Peter or Lux?
Not for Lux.
Yeah, because Omerta was Tony's character in the
And the last
McCormick's
one.
Folly game.
Right.
He was
Okay. That's
the
what I thought.
Illrigger.
Okay. All right. That's what I thought. I was looking through my notes. Yeah. All right.
Was he the one who
I-
got turned to? No, that was Tacitus who got turned to stone.
Yeah, also, I couldn't survive a single character in that game too. So
Yeah, Omerta came in at the end.
yeah,
Right.
real
Big
close to
shocker
the
there.
end.
Oh, right. That's why trapped in a tree. I couldn't place the reference.
Yeah. As soon as I heard the reference, that made sense, but I couldn't. I was trying to think. I thought it was Tony's character.
In any event, whatever we want to do, we have to go north. So we need to dig this machine out and start headed north.
I will begin the process. With any luck, it can dig itself out. And Blade will return back to the platform and get the systems booted up and attempt to break free of the Earth or of Fernia's earthen materials.
I'm gonna follow him up.
Okay.
I'm gonna go
Tony,
get
did you get
snacks.
my
Yeah,
text?
I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get snacks and then follow him up.
I'm like, all right, are you able to hear me whenever you're within?
Let me test it out. And he like stands into the platform and begins floating in his Chris Angel pose.
So yeah, you can once again you can shift your consciousness from being more present from the senses of your body to being more present in the senses of the Warforged to that in that kind of computational middle plane.
When I'm in the computational plane, am I able to have the sensor? Am I able to hear not Tacitus, hear Takash?
No.
Okay, so he returns he returns back to the room. I can only hear you when I am present, although I can comment, I can switch back and forth at will. However, I do have the capability to see all innards of the Colossus. So perhaps you can alert me if you wish to speak and I am not there by gosh, I don't know.
Actually that makes sense. So while you're in that middle computational plane, you can hear and sense everything that's going on because you're still connected to the Warforged glasses. So it would make sense.
I have bugged every room. There is no concept of privacy while you're in my insides.
That's perfectly fine with me. I mean, so
I can hear you.
perfect.
You hear over the loudspeaker.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is it resonating for what's happening there?
I can imagine there's like a klaxon in the rooms, and that's how they communicate. The klaxon per room.
Yes, it's a klaxon. So you think you're talking to us, but you're just blaring a horn in our ears.
That's a Charlie Brown teacher.
I'm thinking of aliens. You have 1 minute to reach minimum safe distance.
Okay, perfect. And then whenever you were in there previously, I was trying to cast spells upon you, and it was having an interesting effect. Can you gauge that system? See if we can handle more?
What spells were you casting upon me, and what was it doing? I was not aware of any such thing at the time.
The spells we were casting on you were affecting the whole Colossus.
So
yes, in order to guard it against that dragon storm.
Oh yeah, there was a dragon storm while you were doing whatever you were doing.
That sounds like a Dragon Force song, the Dragon Storm.
Blade, you would know as you kind of shift your mind's attention to this, you would see records within the system of the Warforged kind of showing that the internal mechanisms, particularly the ones related to powering the Warforged and transmitting the magical energy throughout the construct, very nearly overloaded. And that
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
and that there was a fairly good chance that had those systems overloaded, the entire Warforged would have exploded.
That's our backup plan in case we can't beat Belshalor, by the way.
Yeah, so actually as your consciousness shifts to that concept, you would see that there are records of House Cannith planning to use Warforged Colossus. The expense of the Warforged Colossus was such that they did not want to do this lightly, but if needed, they could use it as a type of suicide mission to unleash an explosion strong enough to destroy a small city. And within their plans, they looked specifically at the Argonth, which is a floating citadel that patrols Breland in Corvair.
Does the Argon still exist? Or
The Argonth does still exist.
okay.
Hard to believe they blew up their entire country.
The damage reports indicate that the system was overloaded at about the time that you mentioned that you were casting these spells. It is quite possible that if a little bit more magical energy was applied, that the entire ship would have terminated, or the entire Colossus would have terminated in a fiery explosion, killing us all.
Are you able to better contain that, so that we could perhaps put more into it?
I can see what I can do, but it also seems that looking through the ancient manuals that are left on this, that this was the failsafe plan for the House Cannith, that in the event that the Warforged Colossus was going to be compromised, it could be effectively detonated through magical energies, leveling a small city.
Let's hope we don't need that.
It's good to know that the option exists.
Indeed.
So we should get underway. We can discuss our plans as we go.
Let me know if any buffs we can provide.
Of course.
What do we think the limits are of these buffs? Because I don't remember exactly what the trigger was, if it was discussed in any detail.
I think it was like everything we cast, we had to roll, or you guys had to roll like a D100. I don't know what the threshold was, but it was ticking down, or yeah, I don't know, but
So, Blade, as you kind of think about this, your mind would transition to other areas of the Warforged Colossus's records, which indicate that House Cannith had planned for the use of magic to be implemented in the Warforged Colossus's battles, but that because of the nature of the amplification effects required from the power, the Kyber dragon shards, well, at this point they're not shards, they're boulders, massive columns of dragon shard stone, filled to the brim with elemental energy, and so the amplification systems from them limit the capacity. It's dangerous to cast even a first level spell into that system to amplify the effect to encompass the entirety of the Warforged. But the higher the spell level, the more likely it having an overloading effect.
Okay.
Also, it is another aspect to the design of the Warforged that once a spell is cast into it to apply to the Warforged, that the Warforged Colossus's mechanisms take over the concentration of the spell, so that the caster no longer needs to concentrate on it.
He will relay that information over Klaxon, of course.
But that means it's probably worth like a protection from evil at some point. Even if there's a risk.
Isn't that I
Probably
think-
probably
Isn't that one of the
everything.
spells I cast on it? I think I did. I had it prepared.
I think you guys cast protection from good and evil and
Shield of Faith.
Shield of Faith.
Yeah. And it took concentration, so I could do both.
So, Blade, at your command, the Warforged Colossus easily rises from the packed ash of the ground. And you've, like, as you test out moving the Warforged Colossus, you can feel it like a kind of an extension of your body. But it's also not quite the level of precise sensation that you would feel. So it's almost like when those toy claws that you use that like kind of extend your hand, it's almost like using something like that, except the entirety of your body.
Okay.
So it gives you some capacity for precision, dexterous movements, but not to the same degree that you would have or comfort with your own body.
Okay. So yeah, he gets up and he tests things out a little bit. He might, like, in the Colossus might do like a couple squats, to make sure that the joints are all still working.
Limber up a bit.
Yeah.
So here's a question. What does it feel like for the rest of us inside the Warforged Colossus as he starts moving around? Like, are we slamming into walls?
So that's a good question. So actually you find that the Warforged Colossus is designed to damper much of that impact and change and transition. Branded one, you're not, and any other spellcaster is not really familiar with the kind of magic that would be able to do this. But it seems to be effective so that you're not slamming against the walls with each movement.
Inertial dampeners engaged.
Yeah.
And he starts moving in the direction.
Okay.
If he sees any roving bands of mercenaries, like the Shadow of Death, he's gonna make sure to step on them.
You guys killed the Shadow of Death.
Yeah, but if there's others like them.
Can't have too many soul coins.
At that point, Ornifex says, wait, what about my
What about him?
vehicle? I thought that you were going to try to carry it.
Oh,
Yeah, we were carry it like a football.
I forgot. Let me turn around and go back.
So as you turn around, you see a familiar pyroclastic cloud coming your way.
You get to punch a dude. I like to imagine whenever he did the turnaround, he did like the quick like skid, but because he's so fucking huge, it's like.
So do I see anything? Do I see anything out of the pyroclastic cloud, or it's just that's like I don't see anything in it?
That's the dragon.
Yeah, from your position now and with your senses enhanced by the Warforged Colossus, you do see the shape of from above the cloud, because the cloud is actually relatively low to the ground. You see the rise and fall of wings from the center of the storm.
Okay. Is there anything around like a ruined tower or something that I could pick up and use as a club, or like a giant, or like there's like to pick up like a boulder, part of a mountain or something?
Give me an investigation check.
I think I have advantage on those. Let me check. I don't. Which is strange. I feel like you should.
So you don't find anything club-like, but you do see two boulders that are within reach, that are fairly sizable. They are, as you go to grab them, you find that their size is just barely small enough for the Warforged Colossus's meaty hands to grab them.
So Blade's gonna pick up that one of both of them and just like hurl it at the the creature in the cloud.
Okay. Roll me a d20.
Oof. Still a lot of session to go. So I'm gonna refrain from an action point for now.
So as you throw it, you launch the boulder far into the air, and you feel the power of the Warforged Colossus, and it's exhilarating. You find that while the boulder does miss, it doesn't miss by much, and it helps you calibrate for your next throw, because part of the difficulty in seeing that the creature is because of the pyroclastic cloud that surrounds it. And so if you want, you can attempt to throw the next one.
The boulder will attempt a second throw. Yeah, well, there you go. 19.
So you hear the crunch of the boulder as it strikes the creature. You see the entire cloud shift and ripple, and you hear a massive roar that is more like a screech. It's such a shrill, high-pitched noise. Uh, and then suddenly the pyroclastic cloud lurches forward even faster than it was moving before. And within seconds, it is enveloping you. Blade, you are sensing from the Warforged Colossus that the heat of the pyroclastic cloud is actually causing some damage to the exterior, as well as causing strain on some of the systems meant to protect the Warforged Colossus.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, that's what I cast on the Warforged Colossus last time, protection from energy.
We are in a pyroclastic cloud. The creature has returned.
You do notice through the senses of the Warforged Colossus that you the pyroclastic cloud is causing visibility issues, but you can still, you have a vague sense of this creature, and you feel as it clamps down onto the shoulder of the Warforged Colossus, causing the entirety of the construct to retch to one side. With that, while the inertial dampeners are quite strong, they were not built for such a violent strike, and so there is some difficulty in maintaining your balance and getting knocked around. Not so much that it causes any kind of pain or well, not maybe pain, but not anything that would cause any like actual hit point damage.
Hmm.
So
We all got to do the Star Trek now. Yeah, all got to lurch to the left.
Blade, as you are beginning to understand the systems of the Warforged Colossus more, you do get a sense that while many of the weapon systems are, well, all of the weapon systems can be accessed by you and utilized, you're not able to utilize all of them at once, which is one of the benefits of having a crew. And so for the certain weapons, particularly, there are a few names that come into your mind with these weapon systems. The first being the Eldritch Turret, the Eldritch Salvo, and the Incinerating Beam are all weapon systems that a crew can access and utilize.
Blade relays those three systems. I will need assistance in fending off this creature.
Where are they located, or do we know where they're located, or?
So the Incinerating Beam is the massive cannon that is in the midsection of the Warforged Colossus. And the Eldritch Turret is in one of the shoulders, the one opposite where Melodia was stationed. And then
The Eldritch Salvo.
and then the Eldritch Salvo is in the other shoulder.
And you activate that by thrusting, right? Just hip gyrations.
I mean, how else would you do it?
I figured.
Yeah. I was hoping there'd be a pelvic cannon or something.
Yeah.
Sure helps as Kaus Cannith tried to get that incinerator beam lower and lower.
Do we game wise? I know. What was the Ornifex's vehicle called? Or I don't know if it had a name, but I know there was. It took like I think hit dice damage to use that. Is there any kind of thing like that with this, or are these just
No.
Okay. Oh, there isn't. Okay, awesome.
So anybody that accesses those weapon systems, it's fairly. We lost Peter. Oh, he's got to restart. It's fairly simple. It's very much like the turrets that were used in Ornifex's vehicle, and there seems to be a kind of strange viewing port that is like a screen. Each one has a silk screen where an image is projected on it in kind of an illusory type effect. But the viewing screens are all pretty much black with flashes of light and moments of where the cloud momentarily parts in due to the blast of fire erupting from the dragon's mouth. So it is hard to aim these things, but also it seems to be right on top of you.
Is there like a turn order we're going in, or
No.
So, I mean, I don't even know that a weapon called the incinerator is going to hurt a dragon living in the middle of a giant firestorm. So I'm going to head to the Eldritch Salvo
Okay.
and see if there is a way to aim it at the dragon, or if like the incinerator seemed to basically just sort of fire in the direction the robot was pointed. So as near as I could tell. So I would see if there's a way to aim this thing as best I can.
Okay. So you aim as best as you can, which is still not great, but once again, you kind of get the sense that the dragon is kind of on top of you based on the slight flashes of light and very poor visibility that kind of comes and goes. So as you activate the Eldritch Salvo, this is the result. So, but because of the size of the creature, the number of missiles that actually hit it are much greater. And so you hear dozens upon dozens of impact points that result in the creature once more unleashing a screech of agony and rage.
I think I pissed it off. That'll help.
And I'm sorry, there was the incinerator, and what was the other one?
The Eldritch Turret.
Yeah, I'll go to the Eldritch turret.
Okay. So, as you activate it, once more, it's difficult to see clearly. So this is rolled with disadvantage, but and still it impacts the creature. And actually, it is larger than huge. It's supposed to, so it doesn't get knocked back from that attack, but it certainly notices the impact.
Hey.
I'll ask if Blade can even shed some light. What exactly does the incinerator do?
So,
Can he tell?
so
It shoots water.
Oh,
Blade,
okay.
Blade, you know that it shoots a beam of energy, in a pretty significant wide line effect.
it discharges a beam of energy in a line.
I
That
shall go
is-
check that one out.
All right, so this one operates a bit differently because it's this giant cannon. So it actually, you are at the other end of it, where you're actually kind of physically moving the cannon within the field of view. Because obviously you can't direct it straight to the side, but generally in front, within a certain angle of attack. And as you move it, there is a screen that allows you to see kind of the general direction of where you're aiming it. once more, it's just like the others. It's hard to notice and to see exactly where you're aiming, but there are flashes of lights and slight clearings of the cloud that allow you to have some sort of guess at where the creature might be.
Okay. I'll do what I can. What do I got?
All right. And so as you activate it, this is the effect. And with that, it further escalates the creature's anger and pain. Blade, you actually feel you feel the creature no longer just purely attacking, because it did bite, and then you get the sense that it was striking you with its claws and tail. But now it is wrapped itself around you and is pulling you up into the air.
Can Blade try to like, so what he's gonna try to do is he's gonna try to like, so is this dragon, like, how is it in comparison with relative size to Blade? Are like they the same size? Is it bigger?
It's hard to tell because of the blocking of sight by the pyroclastic cloud, but based on some of the supplementary sensors that you have, you would guess that it's pretty close to the size of the Warforged Colossus, maybe not quite as big, but certainly it must be powerful if it's able to rise not just itself, but also you into the air.
So what he's gonna try to do is try to basically bear hug the dragon around the wings to prevent it from flapping.
Mm-hmm.
And then try to roll on top of it.
Okay.
So basically trying to like get it and then like pin it.
Roll me a strength or athletics check.
Seems like a Lux maneuver, like as far as like physical hand to hand like this.
Strength or athletics? Well, they're going to do athletics. Just wondering if there's something that I have.
I mean, if he's using strength, this robot shouldn't he get a little bonus or something? Just saying.
I'm taking into consideration all of those
Okay.
things.
Okay.
All right,
It's
I'll
his
take
Gundam powers.
it.
I'm hoping we can just strap this thing to our back like a backpack and fly all the way north.
Yeah.
So you are able to grab it and go onto the thing's back, but its tail is still wrapped around you, because it's now you're getting more information about its shape as you kind of physically interact with it. It is much more serpentine than it is like a classical dragon type shape. And so you grab it and you are grabbed by it. It seems to struggle a bit in terms of lift, but it still is able to lift you up into the sky enough to where it's like you begin bouncing along. So it's like lifting you up, and then because of your grip, you're falling, and it's trying to flap again, and then you're falling again, which is having this repeated pounding within the interior of the Warforged Colossus, which is causing a lot more chaos than the other impacts.
He's checking the systems to see if like if each bounce like if the crew is also just like bouncing, if the systems are holding up.
Uh, the
Can't
systems
believe
are
House Kenneth, all of that inventive technology, the seatbelt eluded them.
Mhm.
um so it's you can tell that the Warforged Colossus is taking damage from each impact. Not nearly as much as if this thing had been able to rise higher into the air, and then, if it decided to drop it, that would have potentially been catastrophic. But you're also sensing that with each impact, the inertial dampeners are getting more and more likely to fail.
I mean, in general, and it can happen on like the subsequent interaction, but Blade would try to position himself so that it is not he who does the thumping, but or he is not he who is getting thumped, but he who is doing the thumping. So like to try to like basically roll it on top so that it is hitting the ground. So like imagine like it's like the Colossus is like is here and this is
Well,
on top holding it, and it's like
no, because you did successfully get to the back of the creature, but it has, as you're getting more information from interacting with it, it has multiple sets of wings. But also, even then, and even with it like kind of grappled around it, what you're doing is you're preventing it from flying up. But it's not just you that's crashing to the ground; it's also the creature. And
oh, okay. So the
so
creature's going first, and it's just also damaging the Colossus.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can hear the creature screech with each impact. You don't know if it's causing pain or anger or both, but yeah.
See if you can shoot off its wings.
Can we see anything through the our viewport things?
It's still really difficult to see much of anything.
Okay.
Um, you're using the turret?
Yeah, yeah.
And a 1 gives you a 19 still.
Um,
Just imagining a crit fail in the giant robot.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's,
let's-
that
let's
was my
not-
concern.
yeah, let's not worry about that. Yeah.
okay. So it just goes wide. It doesn't seem to connect with the creature.
I'm shooting wildly and I'm still missing.
I mean, I'm gonna treat, I don't know how exactly you aim the magic missile thing. I'm gonna keep trying to shoot the wings too. Knowing that I have to recharge this thing, I'm just probably gonna do like the video game thing of I'm just gonna keep hitting the button until eventually it happens.
Hit it
I don't have
harder
to
and
watch.
faster.
You know what, Kurt, go ahead and roll a d6.
Button mash the shit out of it.
You can do it a couple of times. Because you're button mashing, so I mean.
There you go. Finally.
Unfortunately, it's additive.
So yeah, eventually you're able to get it to function again, and so
It's a mini game. You gotta like press it real hard a bunch of times
Right.
in order to charge it up, and then it explodes.
Or at least I'll convince myself that there's like a sequence I've got to do to get it to work.
Is it up, up, down, down, left, right, APA? Or...
And then so you find that you're able to mentally direct some of the missiles to target indi- individual sections of the creature. So you do manage to focus on some of the wings, which you don't know what the effect is, but based on the sound, especially Dustin, you get a good sense of the sound. But even from within the hull of the creature, you can hear the as they tear through the wings. Um, and then the thumping stops. And then Dustin, you get a thought directed to you.
All right.
You know, if we can kill this thing, Lux may be able to reanimate it with the hand of Vecna and some action points. And then it's ours to take north.
So Blade commands the Colossus and kind of realize, as he's into more systems, he realizes that he pulls out or unsheathes two giant swords. Or I guess, yeah, they come out and attacks with the mystic blades.
This is usually the end move for Voltron. Form blazing sword and then cut in half whatever kaiju it was fighting. Which always made me wonder why they didn't start with that move. Why they always waited.
What you don't see is the after meeting. Like, guys, you have to fucking find it. It's so expensive, dude.
Yeah. Guys, it's $25 million every time you form blazing sword.
That's how much fuel it takes to light that sword.
So you take 2 slashes with the swords. The first one connects and you feel it solidly embed into the creature. The second one actually misses.
Oh boy.
And the sword that you struck with breaks off in the creature's hide.
That's even more expensive.
We get a bill from House Kenneth.
Well, I'm still at the disintegrator. If I can make that thing go, then I shall.
Go ahead and roll a d6.
It's a D6, right? Yeah. Is there a button for me to mash?
Yes.
Fuck. Fuck.
Wow.
Fuck.
No, you can't get it going.
Wow.
It's just
It
late
make-
enough that it's my next turn. Ah! I'm like midway through.
Like it extends out from the chassis, but it just hangs there limp, not doing anything.
And then there was one more weapon.
So, Dustin, what are you doing now? How are you directing the Warforged?
It stopped thumping. And so does that mean that the worm is still, its still tail is still wrapped around the Warforged?
Yes, but it also seems to be yanking. You don't know what that means. You just feel it yanking.
Oh, that's why my cannon was not where I wanted it to be.
Is he facing? Or like, is it just kind of all over the place, or is it like a clear shot? Because if there's like a clear kind of view, then he's gonna let the Brandon one know that he has him, that he's clear to fire.
Yeah, I mean it's still there. So
So I'll try to fire. Nope. There you go.
and with that salvo, something feels like it gets knocked loose, and you feel the creature disengage and attempt to fly away.
Throw a stone at him.
He's gonna try to just like hit him with his remaining sword arm.
Okay. As you think about that, and as the creature tries to get away, you get a sense that from, you don't know if it's the Warforged Colossus or Omerta, but you get a sense that there's a way to boost your speed.
Well, he will try to boost his speed, I guess, in that sense, if it's like activating the foot thrusters, and so like he can stand with his sword out like a Iron Man type deal.
Yeah. So that's the action. And then even with that, the creature is too fast and it manages to get out from the slashing might of your blade.
Oh, I'm gonna action point that.
Okay.
You don't deploy thrusters with a blade to let the opportunity go squander.
And with that, you impale the creature straight into its back, driving it into the ground, with the blade coming through the entire creature and pinning it. It writhes under the sword, making the wound that much worse. And
A fire that disintegrate.
and then Takash fires the disintegrate, taking off the top half of its body, causing the movements to stop. There's the occasional jerk as the nervous system, being so large, is still
kind of reacting even without the direction of its brain.
Like an
But
octopus tentacle.
yeah, but the storm begins to fade and the temperature regulates back to its still insanely hot, but not nearly as hot.
I was being sort of serious. It was at least conceivably possible that Lux could have reanimated the creature before it was, half disintegrated.
I don't know. We don't need to
But
concern
Lux,
ourselves with such things.
is that something you think you might have been able to do? I don't know what the powers of your new magic arm are, but it feels like a Vecna thing.
I can do all things through Vecna strengthens me.
Creepy.
Yeah, we should remove this arm. I stand by that.
For now, its power works for us. She's already sacrificed her soul. Why take her power away too?
We don't know that her soul has been sacrificed.
That's what we learned about the arm. It just takes your soul.
We'll have to get it back. We are in the appropriate place.
I'm not sure. I don't recall that it said it sends it anywhere, just that it destroys it. Maybe Vecna has it somewhere. But for now, her power works for us.
I think I mean, I could probably use all the power in the hand and action points and probably negotiate to get a roll, but then that would be it for the hand for the entire day.
Still, we should keep an eye out for things you can reanimate. It would be good if we turned up with an army.
Is there what through the Colossus, and perhaps Blade's memory banks, does he recognize this creature and know of like if it has any parts that are particularly valuable? Like, are
All the people who collected parts before.
what?
I said for the knowledge of all the people who collected parts before.
Yeah. Yeah. Or if it's often you see this storm. What kind of dragon was it?
This is a pyroclastic dragon.
Pyroclastic dragon scales, if those are like components of spells or if they're used to make
Shields.
Yeah. I don't know. Basically is like is there something worth like harvesting from this before we just like leave it to whoever passes by it in Fernia?
I mean, none of you would be familiar with the concept of this creature. I mean, it looks like a dragon. You assume that it's a dragon, but it could be something completely different. Additionally, because of its size, anything that you might want to harvest would be too large to really effectively utilize unless you were just taking really small pieces of the creature. But even then, I mean, it looks like now that the pyroclastic cloud that it emanated has dissipated, it looks like it's almost made of molten rock that is now very slowly cooling.
Not thinking big enough. We can make a dragon scale armor for the Colossus.
There you go.
Ooh, that would be good.
If we can do that on the move and not stop for several days, that would be great. For now, we should get Ornifex's vehicle, since that's what we were actually stopping for.
Wrap the wings around the arms or something. I don't know.
I mean, how big is what's left of the corpse? Were the wings in the disintegrated half or in the other half?
There is one set of wings that's not disintegrated, but it is punched hole with full of holes.
So maybe not useful as wings. I mean, if you want to, we don't know what we're picking at. If you want to take a sample, I'm sure we can fit it somewhere in this giant robot,
No, we're in a hurry.
right? But we do need to get Ortifex's vehicle.
Yes. Be grateful, on effects. We have just slain a dragon, just so we can get your car back.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And being able to witness this event was, well, satisfying. Actually, let's take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
And he's still not as obsessive as Mike will be when he finally starts revising all of his rules for the DC 20 rules.
God damn it. I am so nervous about, because it's not just DC 20. I'm gonna have to incorporate Matt Colville stuff somehow. Just because I just like to mash things together, see what comes out.
I mean, looking at the playtest rules, one of the reasons why it's so different is apparently they got rid of like the 6 ability scores, which I didn't occur to me. They just seem to have 4 ability scores in the DC 20 rules.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
are some things about it that are supposed to be streamlined.
I will check out once I've read the basic rules, I will check out their Ranger, because that's always the thing I look at first to see if I think they've actually improved it or not.
It's actually a pretty good baseline right there. All right. So you guys have just slayed this monster that has been giving you trouble since you got to Fernia.
And I think I was waiting to see whether or not Blade was going to like take a chunk of it. I don't know how to get it inside. Like, I don't know if there's like a cargo hole other than like dumping it down into the head.
I
I'm
was
not
thinking,
sure how to get in and out of this machine.
yeah, I was thinking about that. Is there like a 2-car garage in the rear?
You know what? It would make sense that there would be some kind of space like that. So I'll say yes, and I'll say that it's large enough not just to accommodate a chunk of this beast if you so choose to, carve one off, but also for um the vehicle for artifacts.
I was hoping for the dramatic moment when we hurl the vehicle at something as an improvised weapon.
It's still possible if if the hangar bay is in the rear, you just reach down, drop it out, and throw it.
There, I think you should just take a large chunk of like the molten dragon creature so that you can just pull lumps of black ooze out and start throwing it. Shalor might just give up then. I don't want to take over Corvair. It's a silly place.
But so we'd have some storage space. Were we gonna take anything off the dragon?
I mean, it seems like it's mostly turned into a massive molten slag, but If you could find something to take, it's up to you.
I think we should leave it. It's the heat within the the heat within that cloud damaged many of the systems. It will take time to repair them. I would
This
not.
thing self repairs, doesn't it?
It will still take time.
As long as we don't run into a lot more of these things, we'll be okay, hopefully. Let's
Can we
fetch
assist?
Ornifex's vehicle and go.
So we're gonna head over to Ornifex's or to where we originally were, to get Ornifex's vehicle.
And hit
Sorry,
them
one
boosters.
I mean, according to the character sheet, this thing has jets. I don't know what the jets do.
Oh yeah, so I revealed the stats and you guys should have the ability to click on the stuff.
So
Where is it
how do you-
located now? I closed it. Now I don't see it anymore.
It's under vehicles in the player characters tab.
I see.
Also, I'm not I must have messed something up because for some reason this thing has saving throws in intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. That doesn't seem right.
I cannot. So I can see it, but it's a blank sheet. But if I click edit, I can see the text.
I got that too. I had to close it and then reopen it from the tab to see the sheet. Right now it's in edit mode because I think Mike is editing it to
Oh.
change
Yeah.
the saving throws.
Right.
So
But it has true sight 150 feet. That's nice.
wait, does it?
That's what it says.
Yeah, that system wasn't quite active during the battle. It was still booting up.
Likely story.
It is because I told it.
So I don't see the jet engines anywhere in the character block. It's only in the narrative description where it mentions gravity boots and jet engines. Also shoulder cannons and a chain sword
Oh, okay. So
and rocket fist.
so that was
Yes,
that
that's
was
the
a
blast fist.
direction that I was thinking about taking it, and to kind of simplify a bit, and then I just statted the thing out. So I was like,
I see.
you don't need hard fast rules, but then I realized those rules are fun. So but in the character sheet under bonus actions, there's the limited flight and
Oh, I see.
extend Mystic Blade.
Well, let's get this thing moving.
We'll start after loading Ornifex's vehicle in the 2-car garage. We'll be on our way.
Okay. So you start clomping through the dust of Fernia, heading off in the direction of Flamekeep Cathedral.
How long do we estimate now that we know we have boosters?
It's still probably about 4 days.
I'll ask Blade, do you need to rest while you are operating this thing, or how does that work?
And are we able to like, yeah, how's your visibility? Do you need help seeing?
I see clearly. Assuming I do. Is there
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing affecting.
So you're definitely able to see through the eyes of the Warforged Colossus, which are those crystals that are in front of you, and they kind of, as you use the Warforged Colossus to look around, those crystals kind of move as if they're eyes, and you see through them, granting you that true sight.
See much better than we did when we were on the ground. We are. There was no sign of trouble.
I'm gonna give Trebek back his ring of bounty. I don't really need it. I needed it briefly, but I don't need it anymore. And he can use the action point it gives him.
I will use this well.
So I think we just continue north unless and until something stops us. I do have my scarab of direction, so I can figure out true north. If not necessarily, presumably we're gonna have to look for the bigger landmarks on our map in order to navigate. Hopefully someone has survival who can direct us a little better.
That I can do.
Yeah, so even though you have true sight, you still have blind spots in your vision. Like you can't see behind you, and you know, you are able to use the senses of the Warforged Colossus, but they are, aside from the vision, they are somewhat dulled. So there is that consideration as well.
I'm gonna go sort of I forgot if it was on the shoulder or top of the head. I'm just gonna sporadically I was doing last time when I found the pyroclastic dragon, just sort of keep my head outside every so often, just poking around, just mainly just watching behind us, seeing if there's anything I can see, stuff like that. Obstacles.
May want to tie a rope to yourself. Don't want to
Yeah,
fall off
how
as we're running.
how fast are we going roughly?
Um,
Ballpark.
know.
I mean,
Warforged Colossus moves at 60 feet around. Well, 60 feet in a movement action, so it can go 120 feet around, and
I
you
mean,
can
we got
use your
Blade.
flight a bit faster than that.
What about
Though-
Blade's bonus action to dash?
So that doesn't translate to the Warforged Colossus.
Just give it a couple days. I think you'll get there. Practice at it.
You need to work. I need to spend more time in the system. It is similar but different enough.
Every once in a while, we just fucking biff it. We'll fall face down.
but yeah, I'll tie like a rope or something around my like waist, just in case. But just sporadically every couple minutes, poke my head out, just check behind us, see if there's something. I don't know, a pit, anything that just seems like okay, this is something we need to keep an eye out for. Something, anything.
Okay.
More passive perception, if anything.
But basically he's running at like 14, 15 miles an hour ish.
Um, and then sending a message.
I mean, then we every once in a while, as it recharges, we got the limited flight. We got 200 feet right there.
All right, message sent. So you begin traveling. The traveling is a bit slower than what you're achieving in the vehicle. Since this is feet and you were on wheels. Um, but it does feel like a very smooth ride right now. In fact, the rowing or the kind of the rhythmic movements are kind of similar to being on like a boat as you kind of sway back and forth. Um, the the day goes by uneventfully. Um, you seem like you are getting. I mean, the landscape hasn't changed much from over the day's travels. Uh, so then I guess the question is, what are you guys going to do? Blade, you find that you could operate the Warforged Colossus while resting, because of your unique Warforged physiology, but also because the seed consciousness of Omerta can support with some basic functions. Um, so you're able to do that if you wish.
Yeah, he would. Um, yeah, there would be no reason to stop unless we had to. And just to confirm, it is does the Warforged, does the Colossus have self-repair capabilities? Like,
It does. You are feeling the wounds that were created by the pyroclastic dragon beginning to mend. excuse me, some of the systems that took strain in the fight are also beginning to fix themselves.
Gotcha. Yeah, he'd continue to monitor that to make sure that no snags have been hit.
Is there anything anybody wanted to do before it's time to
At
sleep?
some point, I was gonna try to go to sleep, see what happens.
Oh yeah, that does remind me. I did prepare for the day. Since I was able to at least rest and prepare spells and whatnot. Now that things have settled down, I was gonna attempt to see if remove curse would do anything.
Okay. You can attempt that. Can you post the spell?
Uh-huh. Did I what's the right one? Yeah. I just looked at the brand one. My hand starts to glow. Step closer.
I will step closer.
I'll press my glowing hand to his forehead.
So give me a caster check with disadvantage.
Disadvantage.
Yes.
That's some bullshit. Okay. For me it is charisma. Here we are. Oh, you gotta be shitting me.
Not a crit
So
fail.
close.
That's what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
You find that as you try to break the curse, because the curse is linked to a physical token from the body of the recipient of the curse, it's much more difficult to break. It's not impossible, but as you just experienced, you need to push your will strong enough through the curse to actually cause the token on the other end to become destroyed.
Okay. But I feel like perhaps I could potentially do that.
Yeah, also give me a constitution check or save.
Sure.
Okay. You manage to save. You realize as you finish with the spell work, the effort has caused a pretty significant strain because not only are you trying to affect the recipient of the spell, but you're trying to push it through the long distances between the recipient and the token. And because of that strain, it is possible that you could overexert yourself and gain a level of exhaustion from the attempt.
Sure. That's okay. I got some days.
Do you want to try to cast the spell again?
Yeah, I probably should. I'm wondering if I could do anything to help myself. Uh,
Well, remove curse is not a sorcerer spell, so I cannot help you with this.
how about enhanceability?
Enhanceability is a sorcerer spell. I'm not sure if I have that.
But you're a divine soul, aren't you?
That's true.
Right, yeah. Don't you get access to the cleric spell list too?
Yeah.
That's helpful.
Actually, I do have enhance ability prepared.
The Eagle Splendor could help me with the process. I can only do this 2 more times today, so
So I am happy to cast enhance ability on you.
delightful.
Okay. That will remove the disadvantage.
Right. Um, you know what? That's the other thing. I would be curious because of the nature of the spell. Perhaps I could have gotten something like, because I don't know the nature of that spell, like the school of it. Do I know the school, or can I determine the school of the dream spell? I guess it's enchantment, huh?
I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah. Probably, yeah. So non-detection wouldn't really help then, because that's just divination spells. Okay. Yeah. So I'll just do the remove curse again. I didn't mean to press that button again, but caster check. Here I come. Nope. So
Uh-oh.
action point. Here comes an action point. You see the last roll. See, look at these crits. These crits happening in a row. All right. All right. Action point. Here, let's try this again.
There we go.
Right on time.
I swear, there's got to be some time component to the RNG that they use.
Right.
And roll to confirm.
Oh shit. Yeah. All right. Hold on. I don't think that's going to be enough
It's not,
to confirm.
but it does succeed. Give me a Constitution save.
Well, even with the crit, I got to make a Constitution save.
Yes.
You bastard. Oh my god.
Okay. You manage to avoid exhaustion, and you sense the token connected to the branded one cease to exist.
Delightful.
I do
Something-
like to imagine what Cardinal Crozan is thinking as his token vanishes.
Something tells me Lux perhaps is okay with the hand at her beck and call at the moment.
I mean, she was impacted last time when we met Crozan.
Yeah, but now she's got this whole hand. She got it in the dream. Now she has it outside of the dream. Something tells me that perhaps it will help, at least. At least make it unpleasant for the cardinal whenever she arrives there within their dream. So perhaps Melodia should go next.
Sure.
Alrighty, I cast the spell for the 3rd time. I now have no more 3rd level spell slots. Make the check.
Nope.
Okay.
There's always tomorrow. I'll be fine.
Give me a okay.
I hope to be eternally vexing to this Cardinal Crozan. For as long as his soul remains.
So Melodia and Lux, as you slumber off, you experience horrible dreams. Dreams that really shock the conscious. since each of you know your characters better than I know your characters, why don't you tell me what the nightmare is for each of you?
Mine is probably being it probably starts off back in the cell, actually in this exact colossus that we're in. And as dreams are, it just sort of like spirals out of control into just being captured again in whatever next thing. And I just sort of at that precipice of always waking up in like a cold sweats and just being caged watching Pantone repeatedly being killed and sacrificed over and over again. Even though my memories aren't still quite there, like of my previous relationship with Pantone, it's still like there's almost that subconscious is still there. So I think that's probably that's what Melodia is going through, is that sort of recapturing.
And Lux.
A good question. It's probably a combination of like Solomon dying, and then he seems to hang around, but with his head still on, but you can see the mark where he was like decapitated. And then we're in the room with was it Haruman who showed up and took the crown?
Yeah.
So yeah, so Lux is there and Solomon's like, why aren't you doing anything? And Haruman just takes the crown, and Lux just stands and watches him walk away.
Okay. So both of you give me a charisma saving throw.
I thought it was Will.
What?
I thought it was a Will last time. My
No,
charisma was really
charisma.
bad.
That's probably
Wisdom.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
3.5
wisdom.
rearing
Yeah,
his head.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, rewriting so many other things that I'm doing. I'm like in between 8 different systems.
so both of you fail.
I'm going to use an action point reroll.
Yeah, me too. Oh,
Oh, with a 12, no, not really.
actually, no, I'm not going to.
Okay. So Melodia and Lux, both of you wake up seriously groggy, fatigued. Lux, this is your second night not getting sleep.
Right.
So it's really beginning to hit you. But Takash sleeps fine since he doesn't dream, and Branded One seems perfectly well rested. And actually, let's see how Trebek is doing. That should be a 10, but still, he's also not feeling great.
So with my second line, do I get a level of exhaustion?
Yeah.
All right.
And
Here's a question. When do they make those saves, and is Takash conscious for them? They might get the +4 to their saving throws. I don't know if that matters.
No, they don't get that. Because it's unless you want to stay up all night. And then you
Do I
don't
still
the
get to
benefit
prepare
of the
spells in the morning?
You don't get to regain the spell slots you cast.
Then I don't think
Because-
that's going to matter. I should rest so that I can help them.
Okay.
I am going to give up a spell to prepare remove curse.
Okay.
Just figuring out which spell to give up.
Yeah, you do it because you got more spell slots than I do.
I don't. I in fact have no spell slots.
Well, you will, or something,
won't.
whatever, however you work.
Right. I have spell points now, which is even better than spell slots. Do we still have Ewan stuff, by the way? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Somebody probably does.
Because I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think Trebek only has like 2 attuned magic items, including the ring of bounty I just gave him back. So there's no reason why he shouldn't at least be wearing Ewan's belt of giant strength.
I think that's on Pantone right now.
Oh, okay. That's a reason. I only remembered it at all because we're back in the Colossus and you were talking about the Zorn.
So he has 3 attuned items.
Okay.
The
I'm
Ring of
mistaken then.
Bounty, the Rifle of the Damned, and Pestilence.
I didn't realize Pestilence was attuned. I don't know where his character sheet is. I found like a narrative description of him in the NPC section. So I couldn't see his character sheet directly.
Under player characters, there's retainers and pets. And that's where you'll find Trebek.
But which one is he?
Yeah, he's a pet, clearly. As are you all to me.
We had to find a special way to feed him, and I suppose that's true. Yeah.
So what I would try it, I would cast Bear's Endurance on myself because I'm a Constitution character. And then try to cast Remove Curse on, well, no one did it to Lux yet. I would do it for Lux.
Okay.
So I roll caster check first.
Caster check.
So that's just a con check.
Do we have holy water?
Maybe a little. So that's a fail.
Right. So now I do a con save.
Yes.
Yeah. I do want Takash around me for this, by the way.
I will absolutely be there.
All right. You do not get a level of exhaustion.
So let me deduct my spell points. And then I'm going to try it again. Because why not? Damn it.
Another con
I'm not.
save. Okay.
Deduct more spell points. And then try it again. Damn it. On save. Why are you being so stubborn, Lux? All right, I will push my luck and try it again. Can't do it. That's a 20 with you and nearby, or with Takash nearby.
Yeah, that's a success. Man, you didn't roll over a 10 once.
I know.
Con checks. Takashi, you gonna give it a try?
Yeah. Do I? Do you need? I need to do this now? Okay. Okay.
I mean, I could do it again. I already have the Bear's Endurance cast on myself. I just don't think it's going to succeed.
I
There we go.
Okay. All right. So you managed to cleanse Lux of the curse. And roll that Constitution save again. You regain 2 spell points.
You're gonna need them.
I mean, basically, I've just cast half my spells for the day.
Jeez.
All right, we will try
Wanna help
Melodia,
out?
though.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we'll try. Hopefully, we have better luck. Nope.
Just
cast
save it.
modifier.
Yes, save until the end of the day. I'm good for now.
Well, let's try it one more time because I have Bear's Endurance cast on me now. So I save 3 spell points if I don't have to do it again. So one more time. Nope. Wait, I might get 2 spell points back. Yes.
Oh! You succeed anyway. You
Roll
triple
it again.
confirm? Yeah, that's 29.
You get 4 spell points back.
Wow. Hey, you might as well keep going.
I didn't get another crit on that last one. I'm basically down 2 spell points for that attempt. Oh wait, I'm miscounting slightly. So it's all right, one more time. Nope.
That is rough.
It's rough, buddy.
Sometimes the Silver Flame just does not want you to succeed. We can try it again at the end of the day. See
I'll
what
be-
happens today.
I'll be fine. You see, like sort of just swaying a little bit.
I mean, there's still Trebek to do too. So
Yeah. Well, maybe I will get lucky.
Blade, give me a perception check.
Perception.
Okay. Message coming your way.
Cool. It's been more than an hour, so my broken Megazord should be fully compatible or fully fixed again.
Yep.
Sweet.
All right.
Rolling my temporary hit points. My bear's endurance.
That hour.
You hear some static over the klaxon. Is does anyone have a clear visual of the outdoors?
No. Not a lot of windows.
Do we need to look out?
There is a buzzing.
Not
It
the
sounds
buzzing.
like those hell wasps. I cannot tell which direction it is coming from. It sounds like everywhere. We might have walked through a swarm. But I cannot see or tell.
I'll go back to the arcade or Eldritch Salvo machine and see if I could see anything on the silk screen viewer that they have.
So it looks a bit like a locust swarm all around you.
I'll ask people, are these dangerous? They look like insects. Can they hurt the Warforged Colossus?
Is the Warforged Colossus completely sealed, or can they weasel their way inside?
Blade's gonna check through the systems to see if there's any danger of them breaking in.
Like the Death Star, there's a weakness somewhere.
I go up the exhaust
Nobody,
port.
yeah, right. Nobody re-secured the ass hatch when we put the vehicle in.
Um, so you look through the records and you find that in general, the Warforged Colossus is believed to be sealed from the outside environment. It largely is able to function as a self-contained vessel and should theoretically be able to survive being submerged in water. But there are reports within the records that there can sometimes be areas that allow access, typically not any kind of substantial access, but there have been instances where small creatures have been found to sort of infest the Warforged Colossus, and they don't really, the artificers could never figure out how they got in.
In the hatch where the landing gear deploys. Always where it comes in.
He relays that information. They're it should be sealed, but there are reports.
Perhaps that is our answer. We should prepare for the worst.
You're muted, Kurt.
I'll fire an arcane salvo at them.
So you fire an arcane salvo, and it seems like the swarm thickens, and it has pissed off the things that are outside. I mean, many of the swarm fell to the salvo, but the swarm is such that it is quite large and could not be completely destroyed by the salvo. And now they are buzzing around more erratically than they were before.
Well, it's time for the incinerator.
As you say that, you begin to hear the buzzing inside the Colossus.
Of course we do.
They get in through the incinerator. They just fly like up the barrel.
Right through the poop chute.
It's like that tiny fish you're told not to pee into that lake because it'll fly up the stream.
Yep, the
Or not
Kindiru.
fly, yeah.
Can Blade tell which part of the ship they've entered? Or sorry, which part of the Colossus they've entered?
Yeah. Your senses pick up that they have entered in two places, either shoulder.
Damn it, that's where I am.
Oh yeah, you're in one of the shoulders. So, branded one, you see these insects begin to swarm in. You don't know where they're coming from, but it's most concentrated in this corner right here. I don't know if you're.
I'm not looking at the map. Where?
Do you see where I'm pinging?
Nope. I may be on a different map.
Yeah, let's. Oh,
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, I wasn't on.
So you're here at this machine or this machine, one of them. I don't know which one is the thing, but
Mhm.
this is where they seem to be concentrated, here and here.
I saw the first ping, didn't see the second one. See that one? I mean, yeah, so where I can see, I can see. I'll be worried about those ones then. I will yell. They're in the Colossus. They're in the room with me.
So get rid of them.
Yes. Trebek, where are you?
And and you see that the swarms begin coalescing.
Oh yeah, that's what you want your swarms to do.
Yeah, to Voltron.
Voltron within
and
Voltron.
actually beginning to take shape. So
Um,
and Blade, you sense that not only are these things swarming into the Warforged Colossus, but you see them also coalescing into larger shapes.
How
These
long
insects
after
seem to interlock into one another, kind of like Legos or Bionicles.
we had our rest or attempted rest is it now?
It's probably been about an hour.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because first thing I do after like we get underway is I cast Greater Mage Armor, but that only lasts 8 hours, so I'm just making sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. You got the greater major armor on. So let's call it there for tonight, just because I have to unfortunately be up early for a doctor's appointment.
Okay.
Um. So